Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use. Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. We are so happy that you're here. The Just Minding My Business Media, the digital magazine experience, is the place to be seen and heard. If you're curious about it, view our September issue online to see and hear what the buzz is all about. Better yet, be a part of the February edition of Just Minding My Business Media, the digital magazine experience. Contact us at jmmbradio@gmail.com or visit us online at jmmbbmediallc.com. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Thomas A. Edison. Today, we welcome Shawn Khorrami, who is a serial entrepreneur. He has started and managed more than a dozen businesses that earned up to $100 million in revenue. Shawn has worked with diverse types of businesses with products and services across a wide range of verticals. He is well-versed in working with thousands of employees and tens of thousands of customers. Today, he is with us to focus on elements of creating and sustaining a successful business in tough economic times. Well, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, Ida. It's really a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited about it.
Yes, we're excited to have you because we all know we are in turbulent times.
Yeah.
There's nothing that we can see past today.
Yeah. Well, it's turbulent. You know, the thing is that you don't know whether it's a tough time or if it's turbulent, and depending on what industry you're in, you have different things going on. You know, you have a very strong job market, but at the same time, you know, the interest rates are going up, and you know that's causing some of the issues that are coming up. But yeah, I like the way you said it, turbulent.
Yes. And everybody it's like you can't predict anything, you know. So with that being said, how do you help businesses get through this? Because it's crazy right now.
Yeah, you know, this comes up. Tough economic times come up, and even in good economic times, things can be tough for different sectors of you know, depending on what you're trying to do. And regardless of the macroeconomic times, depending on how you handle yourself, you could put yourself in very difficult times. And believe me, you know, you mentioned Thomas Edison, and by no means am I comparing myself, but Thomas Edison, as much as he's revered as an inventor and all of the things that he brought, he had plenty of failures as well, right? And one of the things that made him so successful was that he was pretty much unafraid of those failures. He hated them. He didn't want to have them. He didn't want to even admit to them. But the point was that he was unafraid, and he would go through and do that and take care of his business. And same with me. You know, you mentioned I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've started more than and managed more than a dozen businesses from the ground up, with me being employee one. Not every one of those has been a success. So you can't just let the fear of failure stop you. By no means is failure a good thing. By no means do I wish it on anybody, including myself, by the way. but you know, you can't let that stop you. But looking at where we are in economic times, look, we just came through the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay. That was, and I use it no matter where a person, and I'm talking only business. Let's put the health stuff aside. Where you believe you are in terms of the effects of COVID on your business. It's a very good test case. Why? Because it was completely unprecedented. and completely unexpected and completely wide ranging. It went across industries, across countries, all across borders, right?
Yes.
And depending on what you're doing, look, China's zero COVID policy right now is affecting whether you can buy an iPhone. Okay, so if you think that even somehow big businesses have gotten through it, or small businesses have gone through it, or somehow it's behind us, there it is, right in our faces. Every time we look at our phones, that's those phones, the delivery of those the new ones of those is being affected today by COVID, and so. When I look at COVID, I look at it as a great test case because of those factors. Because never in our lifetimes have we, any of us, seen any disruption like that. And then we went through that, and companies adjusted. Some companies were tailor-made for it, the Amazons of the world, right? Where they suddenly had an opportunity in front of them that was obvious. And they worked very hard to take advantage of it. And some industries, I mean, the typical one that you would think of is the restaurant industry.
Right.
You were covering your head for them, right? Oh, geez, what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But through that, the people that kind of made it through, whether it was tailor-made for them or whether they were the restaurants of the world, there are people who made it through there. There are people who failed. There are people who made it through. And those are the ones that actually saw opportunity, found opportunity, looked for opportunity, right? And so when you look at the next economic situation that we've gotten into, by the way, the Amazons of the world, made a mistake on how they looked at how the world was going to be post-COVID, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because they thought everyone was going to be just online, stores are dead, no one's going to go back to brick and mortar. And they were wrong about that. Clearly they were wrong. As soon as people could get out, people were out there and trying to shop in stores and not online necessarily, right?
Right.
So then we have this situation where we had all of these things that happened around the globe that caused all of this inflation, that now have caused the monetary policy of the central banks to change. And now we're in a completely different kind of a disruption, completely different kind of economic time, and one where the central banks are trying to kind of slow down the economy to tamper with the inflation and tamp it down. And then it's the same thing. The same concept applies. The first thing you got to do, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're doing, is look for opportunity. And I'm not one of those people where, COVID happened. Oh, let me go sell masks today. Right. I'm not one of those people. I like to stay within my lane. Okay. And when the people that did stay within their lane, they had opportunities as well. It wasn't just selling masks and things like that. It was all of these other things that people did in order to adjust to this disruption and address needs that were there, right? That's what you're doing ultimately. As times change, as the economy changes, as people change, as our world changes, there are needs, and those needs, some of them stay the same and they're there and they're constant. Some of them change and new ones come along. Yeah. And the challenge is to really within your expertise, or if you want to change industries, that's certainly your choice, is to find those needs that people have. Those are all opportunities, and places where you can make a difference. You can make someone's life better. You can make someone's life easier, and in the process, make your life better. Make a great business for yourself, and make money, make profits. That's certainly part of the game.
Yes, and I agree, because so many different businesses popped up out of the pandemic. What is that? That Dash.
DoorDash, right?
Yeah. Then when they came out, then a whole bunch of other ones came out behind them. So and the pickup. Well, I mean, I use an example, okay, and I stay within restaurants because that was a place where people had to really work hard to make it work, right? Yeah. And it was a shifting landscape underneath them, right? One second you can you can have food outdoors. The next second you got to clean that up. The next second you can be indoors. The next second it's right.
it was a constant shifting landscape, and depending where you are in the country, it's a different landscape, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the restaurants right down the street from me, right? They're a small chain, and they sell only chicken. Different, they have different products that they sell, salads and rotisserie chicken and this kind of thing. They had a pretty large space. They're relatively, like, they're basically fast food,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of this healthy fast food type thing. They had a large restaurant right by where I am, right by my office. And by the way, that's my office right behind my shoulder. I told you this is my house, and that's my
I
office.
know, a beautiful office.
Even though this is a green screen behind me. Okay, so right by my office, and what they did was they sort of adapted. They said, okay, we're going to do this takeout. We're going to get a lot better online in terms of our ordering. We're going to change around our menu a little bit so it's more friendly. The people can add on and off things pretty easily. They did all that. So what they were doing was, during the pandemic, as soon as they could serve food, what they would do is they had an awning set out outside the restaurant, and cars would come up. They would hand them their orders, and they put together a great online system, and it was just they were just killing it, even though it was a terrible time.
Yes.
Now, fast forward, today, they can have their indoor restaurant open. They can have outdoor space open. They have a large space that they're still renting out there. They don't have their restaurant open. They decided that that's how it is the most profitable for them, is to actually go ahead with what they discovered during the pandemic.
Wow.
So it's an example of, right, people kind of looking for opportunity, and then sometimes they found that opportunity, and they just said, you know what, this is actually better for me.
Yeah.
Because they did it so well. So when you say, oh, there's DoorDash, yeah, there's DoorDash there, but this company, this restaurant business, isn't delivering a thing. They're saying, come pick it up over here. We're not using DoorDash. We have this system together, and they just are like a machine. They just run, and it's every day. It's just a line outside their door, and cars driving up, and I'm just dropping off like this, boom, boom, and order after order after order. And those customers aren't taking time inside that restaurant. They're not taking time with that wait staff. Their wait staff, all they're doing is preparing dishes and tossing it into cars. Preparing dishes, tossing into cars, right?
Yes.
And they have an automated system that pulls the orders in, bam, 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 and it's just like clockwork. Okay, so there's an example of exactly what people do. They find opportunity. Sometimes that opportunity gets them through the day. They survive because they see that opportunity, and then they go back and they make changes as they go along. Sometimes they just stick with it and they say, you know what, wow, we got to do something, and we do better today now this way than we did before.
Yes.
Same thing with again, like another restaurant, a restaurant that actually a small chain that I started, that I'm no longer involved with, by the way. I sold my manager's office, one of the businesses I started. But when we started that restaurant, there was no takeout, no delivery, nothing. You either ate at the restaurant or not. That's it. That's the only thing there was. And the restaurant did phenomenally well. It had we got picked as one of the dishes of the year when we first came out, months out waiting for reservations and what have you. When the pandemic hit, that's all out the window. That's $0 you're getting out of that.
Right.
Okay? How do you survive, right? So they developed an entire takeout and delivery business that they were never planning on. That when I started it, we never were thinking about that. That got them through the pandemic. They have kept that business, continuing it. It has added to the revenues, and they have indoor dining now. So again, they saw they were in a situation. They said, how are we going to survive? They saw the opportunity, they did it, and then they also incorporated that opportunity into the later business model after that the pandemic eased, the restrictions were eased.
Yes. So always find the opportunities in everything. that
That's what I
happens.
say.
It's, I mean, because as you live in this world, it's always ups and downs.
Yes.
And it's always been like that,
Yep.
So we just seeing stuff we never saw before, but it's still the same concept, because
Yeah.
a lot of things came out during the during the pandemic. I mean,
Yeah.
even with the shortage of toilet paper, I think somebody came up with a solution for that. I can't call it right now, but I remember seeing it on the line online.
Yeah. People, there are smart people all over this
Oh yeah.
this world, and you and everybody, they're all smart. There are a lot of smart people,
Oh yeah.
and I a lot of times I say, like, I was one of those people that fully believed in formal education. In fact, I started my first company as a teenager. I sold off that company in order to go into college. Okay, so I got degrees in mathematics and computer programming, in economics. I got a law degree. I went and got a lot of formal education, not a degree, but formal education in marketing, sales, and accounting. And I say to people every day of the week, I say that could work for you if you want that. If that works for you, if that helps you do better, great. But it's not a necessity.
Yeah.
Don't let those things hold you back. Because if you haven't gotten your degree, no problem. There, I can point you to probably more people that have changed the world without a college degree than I can point you probably to ones with college degree, right?
Absolutely.
So people, there are a lot of smart people out there, and they're coming up with these solutions. And so the first thing I say always is look for the opportunity, because I guarantee you, no matter what situation you're in, there is opportunity there for you to take advantage of. It may be small, it may be not that large, but it's there, and it's your job to exploit it, and hopefully you'll be successful at it. Once you do that, then we can get into what your small business looks like and the challenges that come along with having your small business. But the first is to see that opportunity.
So let me ask you, I mean, how do you support other entrepreneurs in getting this mindset? Because for some, it's hard. I mean, they can't see, they focus on what they don't have instead of what they do have. And I'm a firm believer, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Because it's a dream buster as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Always focus on what you have. Because as you look around your environment, there's something that you have that can support you and what you're trying to do. So I love it that you're talking about, finding the opportunities in every situation. And that even comes with health, anything that happens to us in life. We always need to find the positive side of it.
Yeah. So, over time, what happened with me was, people, it was first family, and then friends of family, and then friends of friends. And then it became just total strangers, because some of my businesses were more public than the rest. And so people would come to me and say, hey, I'm in this crisis situation, and I know you were in that too. Or this really great thing happened, and I don't have the infrastructure to handle it. I'm getting a lot of orders, and I can't, I don't have the logistics put together to handle it. So they would come to me, and we would work together. It was sort of this mentoring relationship that developed actually into an entire business, because a lot of my joint ventures then came from those kinds of relationships, where someone came to me and said, I'm in this crisis situation. What do I do? What do you think we should do? And I found, it's part of what I do now, is sort of talking to people as I'm looking at either investing in their business, or looking to joint venture or team up together to do something with one of my companies and their company. I'm always looking, and I'm encouraging the people that I work with to do the exact same thing, right? Because I'm listening to what they're doing, what they're seeing, the difficulty they're having, and I'm constantly looking for those opportunities. Oh, what about this? If we did this, what about if we did that? What if we partnered up like this? And so my mindset is exactly like that. And as I'm talking to someone and we're trying to see, and I'm consulting with them, whatever you want to call it, mentoring, I'm encouraging that thought process. And it's unbelievable how many times the people that are sitting out there that are a lot of times sitting with me because they're saying, I don't know what to do. How many times they come up with better ideas that I came up with in the first instance themselves, right? And those ideas, the person that came over, at that time was seeing a brick wall in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that person that's seeing the brick wall comes up with a better idea, finds a better opportunity than me, who they came to consult with. They do it themselves. It happens a lot. And it's all part of sort of changing around and saying, let's see what we do. Let's see how we solve this. Let's see how we get around it. And once you start changing the person's mindset, then they start, looking at the world differently.
Yeah.
And that's, these things almost become cliches, and it's, but looking at the world, at the cup as half full instead of half empty. It sometimes is as simple as that, as hard as it may seem.
And I think a lot of times when you you kind of know within yourself what your next move should be. And sometimes it just becomes a thing that you need somebody to confirm it, or confirm where you're going with this, and then bouncing ideas off. Because I know so much comes on when I'm bouncing ideas off of other people. And, when I'm by myself, sometimes it's like I can't see the forest for the trees. But as soon as I get with somebody and we start to talk about it, all these different ideas come up. And then I begin to see, oh, yeah, this is how I can work that.
And a lot of times those situations are scary situations. They have the potential to paralyze someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mentally paralyze you, where you can't see your way out of something, where you're feeling doomed, or you're feeling like overwhelmed, and all of those feelings that you have when there's another person around that's thinking through with you, that's there, I'm pushing through with you. You end up thinking about it a little bit differently. You end up, being able to let go of some anxiety you have about the situation, and then just move forward and make some decisions that you need to do.
Absolutely. Wow. So how do people connect with you? Because I love the thought, finding that sweet spot in every situation. And a lot of times, that's what we have to do all the time. And we've been doing it all the time in certain situations, but we don't recognize sometimes that we have been doing it all the time. Yeah. So how do people get in contact?
Yeah, I made it very easy. One is if you forget everything else, it's connectwithshawn.com. Connectwithshawn.com, SHAWN, by the way, SHAWN. So connectwithshawn.com, or ePlaybooks, which is one of my companies, ePlaybooks.com. And you can connect with me, and I'm happy to work through things, including going through the 3 major challenges that I see small and medium-sized businesses have, and working through correcting all of those things. So yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So you're pretty much doing mentoring with businesses.
What we do is help small and medium-sized businesses through education, consultation, and investment. And really our sweet spot is partnering up. We want to partner up with different small businesses in order to address what I always see in small businesses, the 3 major problems that they have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. That's very interesting. Very, very, and you definitely got what it takes. I can feel the energy to help people. And what you talked about, getting through tough times, it's really the truth. I always say, I notice for myself, when things get really tough for me, that's when I really start to put my thinking cap on,
Yeah. Yeah.
because and as humans, we're designed that way.
Right.
We're survival.
Right.
It's all about surviving, and that applies to almost every part of our lives, to tell the truth. But yeah, this is awesome, 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 awesome. I see you say never give up. There's always a solution for every problem.
Yeah, that's one of the things I say.
Yes, that's important. Very, very important, because that what I always say, the minute you give up and stop, you got to start all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, I alluded to like the three major issues I see, like the three major challenges I see small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses have. And those all revolve around like basically going through and joint venturing and talking to thousands of small businesses. And over time, what I noticed was they either underutilize or overutilize sales channels. That means they're on the wrong sales channels for their business for the time, and not enough on the right ones. And when you look at small businesses, it used to be that you set up shop somewhere and you had your geographic area that you're marketing to, and that's the way it worked. You had a little store and you sold to this community, and then from there you expanded. Today, you can start on a number of different platforms. You can sell on Amazon. You could start your own brick and mortar store. You can do both of them. You could sell, all kinds of different ways through your website, right? So all those sales channels are available to you, and picking the right ones and pushing through and developing them is incredibly important. And so there's also, when you look at small businesses, they tend to be overly invested in new customer acquisition. There's no question you need new customers. But taking advantage of your current customers, meaning taking advantage of the market that's there, is incredibly important, right? So marketing to those people that have bought from you, that trust you, that like what you've sold to them, and want to engage with you some more. They know you, is incredibly important, and small businesses typically don't do enough of that. And then the third area that they have challenges is on logistics, and I put supply chains in there. Supply chains and logistics are a huge challenge, whatever the size of your business is. And small and medium-sized businesses are particularly challenged in those areas, because big companies can do a lot of things, such as charter their own boats and switch around things in ways that small businesses cannot. And so what we do is we get in there and we joint venture with companies and really concentrate on those three areas where we can get huge amounts of improvement, and through that partnership grow their business and our own as well.
Yes, yes. So one of the things that I want you to quickly elaborate on, the
Sure.
product is not the business, but the business is the product.
Yeah, this is like I said, I have a lot of things that I say, right? I have a lot of little quotes that I have. One of them, and it's actually the title of my latest book. So I wrote one book, it became a bestseller, and then they contracted for me to write another one. So my second book is exactly that: is your product. Your product is not your business, but your business is your product. And the way to think about that is, a lot of times when you look at a service provider or a professional like a doctor, if you ask them what is their business, what they say to you is, well, it's providing care. That's my business. No, that's the service. That's the product you're providing to the world. It is not necessarily your business. Your business is everything that's involved. It's not only that particular that particular service or product that you're selling, but it's also how you deal with your customers. How's that staff at that doctor's office? How are you getting your patients? What else do you do for them? How do you interact with them? What else do you do for them outside of that core thing that you're talking about? And with every business, what happens is they get overly focused a lot of times on what that product is. Okay, I'm selling glasses, I'm selling cups, whatever it is that they're selling, and they think that that's their business. That's not how a customer views your business. They don't view it as one product. And think about it. You and me, we're both consumers. We may be entrepreneurs, we may be business owners, but we're also consumers. What do we do when we go to a company and we buy something from them? We are looking at, oh, geez, what if it happens and this thing doesn't fit? What is their return policy? How do I do this? How do I do that? What kind of quality is this? What kind of customer service do they have?
Yeah.
Are they easy to deal with? Will they help me if this happens? Can they help me complement this product, can find other products that I use with this product? Do they sell it? Do they not sell it? Do they have partners that do? You are looking at all of those things as you make a purchase decision. You're not just saying, okay, I want to buy this thing. You're looking at all of those other questions as well. And that's how you make a purchasing decision. The funny thing is, when you run that same business on the other side, when you're on the consumer side, you fully understand this concept. When you go on the business side of it, you suddenly lose all concepts there, right? You look at as your business as the product, and that's not true. That's not how a consumer looks at it. That's not how you look at businesses as a consumer yourself. Yet when you're running a business, you forget that. So it's incredibly important to look at your entire business. That is what you're offering to the world. Everything you do, what you put up on social media, what you say to people, how you act, how your people act, how all of that. You consider that as your business. That's your product. Your business is the product that you're giving to the world. And the product is not the entire business, right? That thing that you're selling, right? That you're putting a price tag on, that is not the entirety of your business. And learn to separate those things, because once you do, then you see it differently and you start looking at your business the same way a consumer would, which is ultimately how your business is going to be successful. Which, by the way, leads me to another thing that I always say: don't mistake your idea of your product for the market's idea of your product, right?
Right.
And that's exactly same type of concept, right? Because how the market views you and your company and and what you're selling is incredibly important to your success, to them making a decision to develop a relationship with you. So don't mistake your own idea of what it should be for what the market is. The customer and the market ultimately drives that. And so start listening to that. So when I say, your business is your product, I'm saying that's what you need to be doing. You looking at it like any consumer from the outside looks at you, and what do they see, and start concentrating on that.
Wow. This has been so powerful, Shawn. So powerful.
Thank you.
We're definitely going to have to do this again. I love your energy. And, it's simple, just like, find the opportunities in every situation. If you don't take anything else away from this conversation, that is king right there. So again, how can people get in touch with you?
Connect with Shawn.com or get on ePlaybooks.com, and you'll be able to get in touch with me. By the way, I mentioned my book. To anyone from your audience that reaches out to me, I will send them a free copy of my book. So for your audience, that's one of the little gifts that I'm providing. Hopefully it'll be of value to them.
Okay. And what's the name of the book again?
The name of the book, you know what? I keep it over here. Look at that. The Small Business Guide to Surviving in a Post-Pandemic World. Sorry about the green screen.
Okay.
That's what happens with it.
Okay. All righty. So y'all heard that. Yeah,
it's current. It's a very quick read. And I'm happy to send it to anyone from your audience for free.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shawn, for taking time out of your day to share your insight to help other people be better in their business and successful and all of that good stuff. We really, really appreciate this conversation, and we are looking forward to more. So
it's been a pleasure being on. I'm happy to come back anytime. I have a lot more stuff to say.
I know you do.
I have plenty of energy.
Yes, you do. And I love it. So we will definitely have you back. to talk to our audience more about, mindset and business, because at the end of the day, that's the business, how you think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you again. And thank you, audience, for tuning in. We appreciate you. And definitely reach out to us, reach out to Shawn. You can always get us at jmmbradio@gmail.com. If you like something you heard, or maybe you didn't hear something and you need to find out more about about Shawn or whoever we're interviewing, email us. We'll definitely pass the information to you. So thank you so much. And everybody have a wonderful day.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.